So Robinhood basically destroyed the trading commission industry by making trades free several years ago. The brokerage industry followed, and now it's crazy to think about paying $5, $10 a trade. It just doesn't happen anymore. It happened slowly and then all at once over the last few years. I feel like there's no real Robinhood of banking. It's very topical today. People can earn 4 or 5% on their money if they're smart, but most people have it sitting in old banks, earning nothing. There's no one that come along and say, you should be automatically investing in higher yielding things, not earning zero. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's sort of like the next wave in Treasury. And just to really simplify what that means, right now, the average consumer earns money, they put it in a bank account, maybe like a Bank of America checking account, and they say it's safe. In reality, it's bleeding because of inflation. The bank takes that money and then earns significant profit from it, whether they invest in T-bills or off their own balance sheet. And so it's not far off to summarize the situation as, unfortunately, the banking industry is profiteering off of lack of consumer education. So based upon everything we've seen, Robinhood, Amazon, Tesla, they're jumping to the end state of the world, which is how do I beat my competition to just drive so much value for consumers? The question I actually have now that I look at the banking sector is who is going to be the first to move and say, I'm going to sacrifice profits to gain massive consumer trust? And that's sort of like the big question mark I have.
Yeah, my personal suspicion is it's going to be a challenger. It typically is startups that can afford.
It's not going to be Chuck Schwab.
I don't think so.
Which we own, disclaimer.
Yeah, and like we're biased, right? Because we own it in Flagship and we think it'll be successful, but not without volatility. And the stock's gotten clobbered lately because of this thing called cash sorting, which is consumers smartening up to the fact that they could earn 4% on their cash instead of none. And as that happens, Schwab makes less and less money, as you mentioned. Consumers get smarter, the bank gets poorer.
You don't think Chuck? He was the first mover. He, in theory, was more Robinhood than Robinhood because his product was there's papers going down an assembly line, and that's how trades were made. And he said, I'm going to do that over the internet. So in theory, he was the first brokerage tech entrepreneur. I've never met Chuck, for what it's worth. Who's gonna be the first is the question.
Yeah, the reason I say it'll probably be startups or some disruptor is that incumbents have a lot more to lose. Schwab makes so much money off of the lack of consumer education around smartly investing their cash that they have the more to lose than anyone else. You know, we just launched Titan Treasury. We don't have anything to lose launching a treasury product. We're not cannibalizing an existing business line. We're not a bank, right? And so we can give value to consumers by making it easy to invest in things like treasuries, and we don't have to worry about public stock price or other stakeholders that may have different incentives.
Yeah.